Welcome to Astro Monday, everybody. My name is Ra of Earth, and we are here live with Christopher Witecki. We're going to be breaking down astrology day by day for this week. And if you guys were listening last week, let me know how the listen went and then how the week went, because sharing allows us all to participate in the reality. Talking about it, also talking about the week, allows us to bring up, and I'm still getting a signal, and so if I bounce out there, so when we, as I was saying, when we repeat what happens, we actually get to notice time. And if we're already, Moonchild says last week sucked, and this week already sucks as well. You know what's funny is that I actually thought you were talking about the live, but now your life, which I don't know what is better in that situation. But
Hey,
this
buddy.
week's not. What's up, Chris?
Oh man. Well, sorry. I think this is working out. I mean, I think I should have a contest to guess when I'll come in the show.
Yeah,
you know, there's always something kind of funky right before this hour, man. It's like magic. It was a good choice for a show. But anyways, things are good, but things are wonky, man. It's been tough.
yeah. I mean, lots of. It seems like lots of pivotal moments are happening in my life. Like lots of things that are going to determine the outcome of a lot of future things. Lots of
Yes,
decisions.
precisely. I mean, you hit it right from the experiencee's point of view, which is that everything's about to change, which is going to radically change the direction for your future, and that life is not going to be what you thought it was to some degree. You don't know to what consequence yet, but you know it's not going to be the same. Like we pretty much know now. But from the astrological side, it's that we have the new moon at 7 degrees was the installation of a new spiritual intention, a new spiritual premise, a new spiritual goal. So we have a new spiritual goal than the one you were born to.
When did that happen? What day?
That was Sunday,
Okay,
not this a week prior from Sunday. So
okay,
not
so it's
yet,
been a
not
week.
yesterday, but a week. Yeah, but the Sunday before. Can't think of the date. I think it's May 3rd. Maybe was it May 1? I think it's May 3rd. Yeah, and that was intense because that alone turned out to be like a full moon. It was extremely emotional because I think what was happening was there were parts of our lives that had not gotten the memo, and so at the very last moment before we installed the new story, there's a realization of for everyone differently, but a lot of last minute realizations. And I think that's because if we procrastinated or we ignored it, or so a lot of things crashing right before the new moon, a lot of intensity over the new moon, which is the new means the end of so much. I think we weren't realizing it was the end that we were dealing with, because it really was a new moon. So it's all like, hey, it's a new day, but really the drama was that it's the end.
What
Usually,
sort of things do you see people ending? Like, let's say, I mean, my life is constant news cycles of all sorts of different energies. I'm sure yours is as well. But for somebody who's going, day to day, maybe going through the same routine every single day, how does this show up in their life?
it shows up in the sense of all sorts of examples, but it might be like, you know what? I'm dropping out of college. This isn't working for me.
Oh, so you
Or
switch routines and
or you know what? We had a couple of people on Serious Joy that looked like they're going to be career with us, and they left. So nothing bad. Just like this isn't for me. And of course, I'm like, what? It's not for you. Tell me it isn't so. But for me, it's like, oh shit, what did I do wrong? And for me, it's like, it's the end of thinking you done something wrong,
there you go.
right? That's what it was. Like so they all kind of you see how they all tie together, and so they all tie together like that into a fabric of karmic relationships ending. That's really what it is. Like, okay, you know, guess not. See you in heaven, or see you next time, or whatever. But so and then turning back to your life and going, well, we've got some things to do. Like we've got to reorganize shit really on the fast and on the fly, and we've got to, so creating then an expectancy of like urgency, I should say, an urgency of get stabilize. right? Because this is a change. So there's that literal happening. But people are leaving partners. People are deciding that the one they've been with they do love, and they do want to go the whole 9 yards for them, and they do, they're gonna quit fucking around. They're gonna quit, make excuses. So there's people who are committing, and people who are disconnecting. There are people who are changing majors. I know a friend, a colleague, her son just got his master's, and he's like, "That's it, I'm done with school." But suddenly in the last hour, like someone talked to him about his PhD. He's like, PhD. So now he's considering like changing, like going into his PhD, not going back, not go to the workforce right away. So, um, so it's things like that. It's a big, sometimes it's a surprise, But even for me, I don't think I can announce it yet. But this is my 10th house of career, so I've decided to restructure my businesses this month. I was like, you know what, this is not structured correctly in my mind, and I was like, this is 10th house stuff, and I was just like, okay, unite the light, there's this
Wait,
part of
what
it,
are you
this part of it.
saying? You're saying
10th
thousand
house is your house of career. So
house. All right, okay.
my house of career,
Got it.
your career, it's like the party where you build your career. So your houses in your chart are where you build stuff, you know build your personality in the first, build your wealth in the second, build your message in the third, build your home in the fourth. So we're always building. We want to make all these better and better until we ascend off the earth, until we rise above it. And so they're all growing. It's just some lifetimes you can't have time to grow them, and sometimes you do. I decided to grow my career big time. Last time I cared about a career, I think, was the 1800s. So I took a whole century off. That's literal. That's the past life I know of. Was that lifetime of the 1800s? I was trying to discover Neptune. That I was really focused on, my legacy.
It was just the timing of you thinking, and then the answer compared with that.
The fact that I know it and remember it too is crazy. But what's funny, that's the new reality. It's like it's crazy. So,
Yeah.
so for me, I'm restructuring business. I'm like, oh, this should be over here, and this should be over here, and this should be owned by me, this should be owned by him. Like so. There's a lot of just like me, a big change. It's a total change in my direction, structure, how things will operate, the kind of foundation I need, and where it comes from. All kinds of stuff. So it depends on where your life is in your story, but for the most part, it's now moving to what the way it should always have been. Like the lessons are over. So I hope you learned, because we're not going to teach you again, says the universe. That was your chance. Not to say you should have, but there's no more time. You're going to be so busy in the new life, you won't have time to think about these things in the old life. You simply won't. The only line I can think of that's like this is World War II. My grandparents almost can't remember life before World War II. They could not remember. It was vague. Like their body just flushed it. And so what we've just lived is the pre-World War II. And World War II is not a good example in the sense of conflict, because remember, as we evolve, things are lighter and light. World War II is the last time the whole earth will be at war. The last time. We are not going to go to war. We will not destroy ourselves. In fact, we even have aliens that won't let it happen.
Hmm.
They've literally said, like, we're not supposed to interfere unless you try to kill yourself again. We will.
Yeah.
They've said that. They're like, we will not let that happen again. They said to me.
We're turning off nukes, and I mean, there's press
It's
conferences in world militaries about the ships that come and dismantle their nukes.
Yeah. And that's a whole other side topic, but they've met with us and they told us first, and we said no. And they said there's a bigger government than you, Earth.
Hmm. Yeah.
And they're like, no, there isn't. And we're like, okay, we'll wait for you to grow up. And basically they gave him like 50 years from here. It's like, and so it's like, okay, they didn't do it. So they're at a point where like we have to, because you're affecting us. What I've heard about the Palladians is like nuclear energy pollutes other planets. So it's a fart cloud that goes out into space that they have to smell. And so they have a right to say, hey, stop it. They have a right, the way they see it. And they're unified on it.
My
So,
understanding is that those explosions just aren't physical, and that you're actually
right.
messing around with other
Space time.
dimensions and
Yeah.
time, which is what they travel through. And so we're kind of like muddying the waters, not just like you said, like in this physical reality, but in these whatever's beyond that.
Yeah. It's literally like if your neighbor started, lighting, throwing grenades in his backyard. And he says, I have a right to throw grenades, man. Shut up.
Yeah.
And we're like, fucker. The sound waves blew out my windows. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. So yeah. It's very so. I'm saying, again, perception change. I mean, this is kind of like the truth is that human beings are coming out of a perception of life and moving into a whole new perception of life, and that is Pluto and Aquarius. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was just after the American Revolution. Actually, during the end of American Revolution, and then the beginning of America. So the head trip was like, what? We don't belong to a king? What? We don't belong to a king? Like that was like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
What do you mean we have rights? What do you mean we can freedom of the press? Like, what do you fucking mean? Like it was such a head blow. No one at that time, they were like, we can't even believe this. It's like we don't understand this reality. Because they were suddenly free of so much stuff and worry went away out of nowhere. And all sorts of stuff just changed in a fraction of a second of them learning of this idea of the change. It was the idea of the change that made everything change, but nothing changed really. And that's when you have a dimensional shift, when one thought changes everything without anything actually changing.
So just to recap, I know you've said it, but your what I'm hearing is that that's happening now, and that the old
The build
stories.
up.
Okay.
We actually just calculated the date it will happen next month in our last meeting today, just before this. The reason I'm a little late is because I was at meeting, and we actually call it the new.
The new.
And the new, it's the new. It's like we're now in new land, and new land is the new is that I always knew. It's NEW. The new.
The new. Got it.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of a spell in Gemini. Perfect. So the new, and the new happens when Mercury will conjunct Jupiter at 29 degrees Gemini. Now, if you don't understand what that means that Jupiter's been in Gemini. It's been
Please.
like, yeah, Jupiter's been in Gemini for about a year. It entered at the end of May last year. Jupiter is the expansion of consciousness. Like, well, maybe there's more. Maybe there's more. It's like the tree branch of knowledge. The branch of knowledge expanded. Okay. We're like, well, we could have more knowledge. Now, Jupiter's always expanding the knowledge or the foundation for knowledge everywhere it goes. So it was in Taurus the year before that, which was like expanding our networks to make money, to manifest. So in Night the Light first year, it was all about expansion and manifestation. Now it's about expansion of ideas, and getting the word out and change the way we word things and change the way we say things. And that's very much what this, Unite the Light is doing also. It's changing a lot of the language, setting up the foundation for the Board of Light. The Board of Light will be a governing board you can, be a part of for a small fee a year. And so we're like setting up the structure of how things will operate. For a person, this means that the exposure of your limited thinking. So it's like, oh, I didn't know. Yeah, that's right. You didn't know. And you didn't know that you didn't know. And so what Jupiter goes is, did you know? That's what Jupiter is. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? And people are like, no, I didn't know that. And it's like, boink. It turns out that tree is a lot bigger than you thought. So our own thinking caps like the end of knowledge. And Jupiter comes in and goes, nope, it's bigger than that.
Right.
So, I've noticed this year, the knowledge that's come in this year has been astounding to me. Like, 100% concrete communication with alien races through mediums. Huge to me. I mean, just huge. B, the absolute concrete communication to dead people. I now have mediums that can talk to dead people to where I literally call them up in a meeting. They speak as their old voice through my friend, and I get a full conversation with a dead person who's guiding me on my life, who knew me in my life, has now died, knows my trends, and now has a radar position up in heaven, looking down at the future and where I am, telling me from that perspective how we are. It's like I can access a control room in heaven now. That's intense as far as New Age thinking. What? Like, I thought those were closed. They never were. It's like, and that's the realization. So our scope of thinking and our whole way of world thinking is different. For me, it's like, it's galactic with aliens. It's heaven on earth. It's heaven. Anyone who's died, any ascended master. We're talking at Unite the Light. We're having a conversation with Metatron, the Palladian race, and Mary Magdalene, Jesus' wife, talking to each other through humans, live, having a debate, right? Like, so imagine if we could get Abraham Lincoln and George Washington and Ronald Reagan, you know, in a panel debate,
Yeah.
who are all
And
dead,
that's what you're essentially doing
right?
at Unite the Light. But before, I want to hear, just so you can let everyone know what Unite the Light is. But I just want to
Okay,
say, if you guys think that is crazy, if this is the first time you've heard about it, like I think it was in one of Napoleon Hill's books. I think it was Think and Grow Rich, where he talks about assembling a team and essentially having a board meeting, like a conversation with them through
wow.
meditation. but like this is still it's not the first time anybody's ever channeled anything. There's books, there's like thousands of books written by channeled through channeled sources. It's one of my favorite topics to read about is channeled authors. And what Chris is doing at Unite the Light is he's bringing several different channels up, and then we essentially having a panel discussion through the different channels, which is amazing.
Totally. I mean, and I probably channeled the idea. If I, like, I'm going to take credit for it. But it's brilliant. It's crazy. It's just my point is, like, I'm bringing it up for two things to promote Unite the Light. Like, you guys have to be there, and we need you there. We need you there in spirit. We need you there voting. We need you there. If you want to make the world a better place, like, this is where we're going to meet every year. And I don't know anyone else who's organizing this but me. So unless you got another, like, a conference to go to where you're all planning on healing the earth, this is the one. Like, at least start with us. But I feel like we have to come together because there's a lot to talk about, which is this, that the light is sort of under, not attack, but under elimination. Extermination.
Elimination.
Extermination. I mean, not to talk dramatically, but, I keep using this toothpaste example where Tom's toothpaste was attacked by Colgate. I mean, that's what we're hearing. And, like, when I say that, I mean, Colgate was like, you're going out of business or you're selling. Those are your options. Period. So you can spend your whole life doing good, making a business and a brand and a label that's all about goodness and helping the earth, and they're going to pick you off one by one, all right? And take it over and own it and sell your secrets and force you out what you created. That's devastating. That's like vicious business. And it's, by the way we've always done it. But now we're in this place where the light workers are starting to make money and starting to become an industry. And when robots pick your fruit, light workers are going to be the number one industry in the world, the number one. Because the one thing Earth has to do is grow and wake up and discover yourself and self-realization and how's the universe work and how's this work and how's that work. Digital Aquarius needs a tremendous training of the souls to upgrade and understand what's going to happen. That means every light worker out there is going to do a killing. Okay, that means you're going to be the number one sought out thing over doctors. Over doctors, people will go to their light worker before their doctor because they want to prevent the illness. They don't want to have to keep going and fixing it. So that said, if we don't unite under what should be an example of how it should be done, like, this is how it should be done. Like, we need to show the world. We're light workers. We have to show the world this is how you do it. This is how you get together, where you put love in front of everything. We have to show them because they won't get it. You can't just sit there and argue with Nancy Pelosi. You'd be like, watch my conference, and tell me, Michelle, let me show the difference between that and Congress, where everyone has an agenda and no one's really on each other's side. Like, we don't have real government, as far as for us and our growth. We have control, and so it's not going to make itself. It's not going to change from one one congressman being good and the rest being bad apples. It's going to be from us creating some sort of a example of how it's done, and that means we have to work through the problems. That means we need people who are willing to work through the problems, and we need real soul democracy. So we need everyone out there who's interested, just to at least be a part of what we call the Board of Light, which is a voting member, and for us to start to decide how. First, agenda one is to protect the light workers. So light workers need health care. They need their own credit union. So only good money's in my bank. Imagine if you can borrow from a bank that's only good money. All the corruption going on. I mean, how many banks
Supporting the good systems.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying that you can control all that because there could be a person in the gray and facing their shadows and doing negative shit. But the bank itself is not supporting anything that will kill children. It's not supporting anything that will hurt others. It's not lending its money to artificial food. So your money is going to good things, and you can borrow from a bank of good for your stuff. And it's just like the purification of money, because money is so corrupt. They say a dollar bill has like everything from like feces to cocaine on it.
Everything.
And it's not, I know, it's like, so this is what light workers need. And no one's going to do it for us. And we're young still, so we better get cracking. And by the way, the last time the plants were here was the American Constitution and Congress. And so we made a Congress of government that set up the foundation for a Congress of light. I think this is now the United States of awareness, where awareness is united and no longer fighting itself. And once awareness is unites and doesn't fight itself, well, then now you have the premise for a new age, right? Get the core of you not fighting with the core of you, right? Like, because you can't get to anything if the core of you is fighting with the core of you. So what I've just described is sort of the worldview going forward, at least the way I see it with Blue and Aquarius, which basically, to go back to the individual watching this, is um, you are now going to either be on the track of the world making itself healed and making itself healthy and then doing magic, or you're on the track of still learning your own shadow by, either not participating in what we do as light and saying, I'll get in later. Hey, we're all going to change the earth. I'll go later. So go ahead, like if you want, and I'm not
Oh, wait.
judging you because, many lifetimes I said I'll go later. I mean, and here's the later for me. Happens to be perfectly timed, but that's all right. Like that's my astrologer. I perfectly timed it. But the point is that, or you review your stuff and you keep blaming the world and you keep getting mad and you stay in those negative feelings. And slowly as it gets brighter, anything darker, it gets heavier. So as we lighten, you get heavier and heavier and heavier. So it's a decay. If you don't want to jump on board and heal your stuff, then you're going to slowly decay faster. And the fact that we do decay is not the way God created. We're supposed to live to 120 at least. You're not adult to your age 60. Your actual biology and your skin should not age after 35. And that's the way humans were designed. So someone came in and fucked with the DNA. Someone came, it's aliens, someone with that
Yeah.
technology, it was technology. Atlantis tried to mess with DNA and they made some monsters. The mermaid is the Lemurians messing with DNA, creating a half fish, half woman. That was real. And Pegasus, horses that can fly. It's like that was all real from Lemuria, and they're playing with with DNA, and they were loving, caring people, so they didn't create creatures that suffered or created harm. But the point is that just to give them their credit, the point is like we've had this technology, and so we locked ourselves into a prison that's slowly dying. And the reason why that was is so that we were enslaved, and then would do what our masters told us. And so we've been under the sort of masters told us idea. We're living in that concept that we have a limit for
Right.
thousands of years, thousands. So now we're in a point where we're going, you know what? We're taking those chromosomes back. Like people of the earth are like, I think we'll decide our destiny. Thank you. Like thank you very much. And the aliens sitting by are like, well, finally, and the aliens that are trying to, just mine us like oil are will be threatened. So that actually sets up for another panel we're having. I mean, the reason we're having those three channels is because everyone's been telling us that there's going to be a pretty bitter conflict for the next 18 months starting in June. So in June this year, there's an ugly conflict. It's apparently ugly enough to make people sick. It's not bloodshed. It's not what you remember. We're at the place we were with World War II. We're at the place we were with the American Revolution. We're at the same place astrologically we were with the Civil War. So all of our karma is coming up at the same time. Now I'm talking about the United States specifically, because the United States, it's not that we're better than anyone else. It's that we represent when the world of the people of the world form a union. That's what the United States is. The people of the world form a union. We are the United Nations. We are in one nation. And so we're being told to fight with each other. We're being told to have war with each other. Like we're being misled so that power doesn't happen. That power of the United States being the United States of awareness is the power of the return of Atlantis. Return of Atlantis was the United States of the galaxy, because human beings are composed of 12 chromosomes, which are from all the different races that are involved in our particular area of the galaxy. And those races would fight. And the story goes is that whatever it is, the board of, I'm not sure what the board is for that, like Galactic Federation. It sounds very Star Trek.
Galactic Federation of Light.
There you go. So apparently it was decided that they would create a creature that you can incarnate into that would have all the DNA in one. Therefore, the species itself would work out the conflicts of the universe
Mm.
within
Yeah.
them.
This is the game that we're all playing for them, for everyone.
Well, it's our part. I mean, they're all our family. We have all their DNA. We're the only ones that's related to the entire universe, our universe. I'm not sure how the space is divided, but there's like a sector, and I don't think man has a word for it, but there's like certain bubbles, and they live within the bubbles. So in our bubble, we are the solution, the latest and greatest, the representation of all of it. We're the capital of the universe, and we're supposed to be a library of knowledge. That was the original intent of Earth and terraforming Earth, because Earth was not ready. It was watery. It was in the orbit of where Venus is now, and so it's since moved, so it's cooler, but it's too hot. People go, "What about global warming?" No, it's been global cooling since the Earth is moving farther away from the sun every year. Earth is cooling. It will always cool, period, because it's moving farther away from the sun every year. So for everything carbon dioxide, that's cool. We just happen to move an inch, so we're going to cool off again. It doesn't matter what you say, we're going to keep cooling off. That's it. Unless you can change the orbits of the planets, that is going to be it, period. Right? So this is the thing. We've been told to work against the wrong things, all this stuff. So going back to the individual watching, we have the Palladians, we have uh, we have Archangel Metatron, who is basically the creative reality and Metatron's cube. He's the guy that designed this simulation that you're in. Is Metatron? I was like, create this cool experience for souls, and Metatron did it. Metatron started as a human and was promoted to angel. I don't think that's really what it is. I think he's an angel that posed as a human. I just don't see how God can be like, "Whoop, you're 100 times what you were." Like I don't. He can, but like, why would you like? Conscious needs to go through that naturally,
Hmm.
not skip steps. You can't skip steps and be aware. So, anyways, I think that's a myth. I think they were angels. They came down posing as humans. They went back to angel, but none. And then Mary Magdalene, Jesus' wife, and Mary Magdalene is a trip to talk to, and I've talked to her. Okay, through Krista, it's a conversation to her, and she talks about life with Jesus. Like, what did he have for lunch? What did he sleep in? Like seriously. And you tell me if you think it's false. I mean, buy a ticket, watch. Tell me, is it bullshit? Tell me. Like I don't think it is. And the stuff she tells us about, being abused by John the Baptist, which is her first husband. John the Baptist was physically and verbally abusive. Her family pulled her out of the marriage, hooked her up with Jesus. It was an arranged marriage with Jesus to get her out of a bad marriage. Interesting. That's just what she told me. It's really interesting, right? It's like, what? Like, this is like Jerry Springer on 5 dimensions. Like it's really compelling. But to have these voices then talk about the next 18 months, the actual target is, will Earth make it? And so these two are going to tell us from their perspective of Jesus, perspective of the Pleiadians, and perspective of the angels, what's the plan?
Okay, so that panel, so that panel is happening in 2 weeks.
That panel's on May 19th when the sun conjuncts Uranus, the day sun conjuncts Uranus, which is the day that your head is blown. Like you can't write this shift. We'll have this panel opening up our day 2. And from what I can tell, it's the first time you've seen anything like this in our industry. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
Actually, Atlantis was the last time we had shit like this.
and even you don't even know what is going to be said. It's
I'm moderating.
yeah,
I'm the moderator. So I'll be the ones interviewing the 3. And I haven't talked to Metatron before. I've talked to the Pleiadians. I've talked to Mary Magdalene a lot. And it's crazy to be friends with a dead person. It's like,
right.
and here's the thing, and I'm going to brag here. The Palladians said they want to work with us. Mary Magdalene said they want to work with Sirius Joy. Archangel Metatron wants to work with Sirius Joy. We have the references, y'all. If you don't believe me, buy a ticket and prove me wrong. Like that's my attitude.
And where do they buy a ticket?
UniteTheLight.love. UniteTheLight.love. You just get a streaming ticket. That'll give you access to seeing it the whole year. It'll also buy you membership to our circle community, where you can stay in touch with us through the year, and you can be a part of this re-evolution of light. It's like bringing the light back online. First thing we have to do is organize. So we've changed the things a bit on the show. We're gonna have a honky tonk dinner on Saturday night, but we decided we're gonna have our first like board of light meeting where we actually have the summit and we talk about what's important to think about in the next year. Like, so here's the first year we're together. What do we need to get in order? And we're thinking lights of like, we want a credit union. We want insurance for light workers. We want 401ks for light workers. We basically want to create our own financial systems to where our money and our power is not corrupted. That's step 1. Uncorruptible resources. Uncorruptible resources is it. So that we can make sure that all of our backbone, you're not going to lose your retirement with our investments. You're not going to lose it because we're making every choice with love and light. We're not making any choice from greed or anything else. And we're not allowing any of that in the organization. And we're writing laws and bylaws that prevent it.
Yeah,
So I think this is what we have to think.
we're responsible for creating what is next. I mean, we've created what has been, and if we're feeling different, if we're feeling unaligned, then there needs to be energy and focus on creating what is to come.
Yes, we have to create it. If you're looking around waiting for a cue, I just gave it.
There
It's
you
like the cue is we are organizing officially with people and power and people and alliances. And, I'm really happy about, the people come to Unite the Light. I mean, Robert Edward Grant is our key communicator. He's the key conversation. He opens up the whole thing. Robert R. Grant is amazing. He's currently right now in Egypt, like discovering stuff that their own government has never seen
Yeah,
and
he's
seeing
bad.
symbols. He is badass. He's got a communication thing called Orion, which is hack proof as far as people getting into your messages. And he's using quantum encryption. Quantum encryption. Like he's like out of this world. Cool. You know what I mean? Like and a Taurus, so fucking cool. But we had, we've started the conversation with him already, and just talking about. I mean, he just is so much like me. He thinks self love is like the key, and so we're finding each other. You see, we've all been in these silos this whole time, like just being the weird one. And now that's the thing about Unite the Light that's so special. You're not weird with us. You're cool. And like you can be in a hotel, I mean, in an elevator, like, what's your sun sign? But what's your moon sign? What's your rising? Oh my God, I had a past life where I was this. Oh, really? You did? Like, just total, like, just be yourself and not worry about, people going, that's the joy of this event. But the joy of watching is like, you're not alone. There are people like you. We've been told there aren't. And we've never united them. Like, if we unite under one single spiritual vote, really it's the metaphysical power. It's like now we have a bunch of people who believe in manifestation, all manifesting the same thing at the same moment. You know the power of that?
Right.
It's
Right.
incredible. It's incredible creation energy. It's basically maybe taking the lead of how to create. And if I know the metaphysics of God, then when a bunch of powerful ones, I think it's 12% of the earth goes, no, because it was less than 12% that tried to take over this country a number of times. In fact, there's been a lot of takeovers in the United States, and the latest one was COVID. It was a takeover in the sense of upon the emergency, people took advantage in that moment. People gouged, people had loans that weren't legit. Like a whole bunch of people like took advantage of a moment that was supposed to help people. And so that was, it happens a lot. That kind of thing where like you have an emergency and then you have people take advantage. And so that kind of stuff is how, like 9/11 and the Patriot Act. You have a legitimate problem and then people take advantage, right, of that moment. So, we keep getting like, baited and switched in a lot of things. And so ultimately, what that tells you is if a small group of people can take advantage like that at that moment, well, then a group of good people can take back power in a moment like that.
Yeah.
And so if we're going to have
Very small group of people. Very,
totally
very, very small group of people.
like the forefathers of the United States, how many were there in that room? How many are in that room that actually changed the course of everything on earth, created, a republic, democracy, voting, all that, freedom of press? Those are all us that did that. Us, the United States, did that. And the whole world was like, fuck, that's a good idea. And that's what you have to do to change thoughts, right? And change ideas. Because then everyone else wants it too. America's supposed to be a golden light that goes, we should all have this. We should all have this. We should all have this. It's not what we've been painted to be. It was like, you arrogant, spoiled. The truth is, most Americans aren't, except for, music videos. It doesn't really exist that way here. You're going to see, Raw here driving down the street, like pimping his Mercedes, like bitches. That's not who we are.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Unite the Light, Dot Love, it's streaming, and
So buy a streaming ticket. If you join Series Joy for $4, you'll get $41 off the streaming ticket. So it's like, we want you to try our service because it will make your life better. It will. I have some testimonial commercials coming out to like shares with what's happened with people who join Series Joy. It is legit light work that changes your life. So you can try for a month and you get $41 off. That's what I would do if I were you. And basically come up for a streaming ticket. At the time you purchase a streaming ticket, you'll be offered the ability to join the Board of Light, which is what I was just talking about, is this Congress of Light that operates out of Unite the Light and is basically your voting. So think about the academies, like the academies for Hollywood. If you could, as a citizen, vote in the Academy Awards, would you? Because that's what we basically are. We are a society that's here to protect and to reward the light. We're going to reward them and we protect them. That's what we're going to do. That's basically our mantra: reward and protect. And from that policy, like we want the people who know better to vote, and it'll be $250 a year to be a member of the Congress, but we'll make you a voting member for $150 at the time of checkout. We'll make you a voting member for a lower price just to get more people involved, to get build the fire early. And then Saturday night, of Unite the Light, we have a Board of Light meeting for those who are in the Board of Light. And if you're in the Board of Light, you'll have access, and you can come, you can chat with us, you can give us your opinion, and we're all going to meet for the first time. That's exciting to me.
That's amazing. Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
So Diego, who reminds us every single week for
So we have to do
the
we
weekly
know
update.
Diego, we know, but here's the thing, Diego, we're going to hijack this, and we're going to the dessert at the end now.
Okay.
So one of the things that light workers have to do is make sure you are paid before you give. So pay first is like I think something we're going to vote for on the first Board of Light. Like we all agree, we get paid ahead of time. We just all agree, and all of our businesses pay ahead of time. You want raw? Pay ahead of time. We have airplane taking off.
Right. Yeah.
So that is an economy of abundance. Okay, an economy of deficit is, oh, pay me when you can. Let me give you a discount. See, we talk ourselves into poverty. And so the point is you have to pay me first, Diego, and watch my commercial before I'll give you the goods. That's a new approach. We have the answers, so you will have to do your fair share. Because a lot of us are not accelerating because we're being too nice. We're being too kind, too giving, people take too much. And how do you manage that? It's a simple equation. Pay first. If they can't pay, they're not ready. That's it. But I can't afford it when they're not ready. You have to be so tall to ride this ride. So I don't mean to turn everything into an example, but anyone else want to be an example? Just kidding. So yes, we're going to do the week. In fact, I want to actually, honestly, we've been talking about the week the whole time, because what we've been saying is that life has changed and
Right.
that things are changing. And I wanted to give you the biggest picture. It's changing in the sense of Earth is now in a galaxy with neighbors. It's not some like, is there alien life? It's like they're a part of us, and they're coming on board big time. We have responsibilities to that alien life. We do live many lifetimes. You don't die. You would never die. Your soul will never die. You will never die ever, ever, ever. That's a lie to control you. You'll come back, sometimes as your own grandchild, and come right back and play in. So you can reset the game at any time. So you don't need to be so fucking worried about dying all the time.
Right.
And you need to stop watching crime shows and stop watching disease shows and stop watching all these shows that are talking to dying.
Hmm.
Okay, because you're not supposed to die. You're supposed to live forever. So with that, if I told you you're never going to die, you can have everything your heart ever wanted, and anything that's hard is because you made it by accident. That's a complete holy fuck. Boy, if we had it wrong. That's what we're heading towards. And so this, last new moon on Sunday was the new realization, the new soul imprint happening. So the soul imprinted. And the imprint was who you are in this new world. What's your plan in this new world? Who are you? In this new world, what's valuable to you? In this new world, what are you going to chase after? What do you put your time and energy into? And, we have to work out the old world. So there'll be this world conflict for 18 months. Okay. And it's coming. So we have no time, you know? And so you got to get to it. Now, what does that mean for the individual? The individual means at the core change was you have to value and love who you really are, and that is a being that never dies, who can manifest anything, who's come here to learn something. You didn't come here to suffer, you came here to learn something. And so what am I supposed to learn anyways? And am I on that track or not? See, life purpose is not wealth, and it's not to stay alive and avoid disease. Life purpose is not to avoid death anymore.
Right.
Life purpose is to create, which is the end of the end of mafias, the end of all the dark shit on the earth. It's the end of all of it. Because once people don't care, they made us fear what they do to us. And it's like, turns out their fears are false. You can never kill me. I'll always come back, bitch. I'll be after your grandchild. Like, you want to talk about war? I reincarnate. You should start a war with your whole lineage. It's like, you better not do it. Right? Like, the consequences is much more than you think. You can never actually kill anyone. You can just put them behind. Right? That's all you can do. So the point is that changes crime, that changes darkness, that changes vampirism, that changes human trafficking, that changes everything. Because the consequence is we all know what you did.
Right.
As soon as we get to heaven, we see it all. You can't hide from us. It's an illusion that you do. And, the human race is merging with this higher self, which means we'll always know. We'll be born knowing our past lives. We'll have full memory. We'll never forget again. We'll always know everything we were. So you come back completely reset with full knowledge of multiple lifetimes. That's a sort of galactic history of like, whoa. Now I'm dealing with an ancient being, my friend Ra. My friend Ra who had been with this and this. In this life I was this, in this life I was that. So it's like the friendship, the connection is so much greater and richer and powerful and not taken so hurtfully because we know there's a lifetime in Ra and our enemies. There's a lifetime in Ra and our friends. Like relationships go through those over, the switches too, because they have to understand where the other guy was. So the point is like your life right now, this week, bring it down to this week in the predictions, is that we just installed the new thoughtware and the spiritual software. And we know Sunday, was it Sunday? We're 10. I think it was 9. 9 was Friday. Saturday was 10. Just looking at my book. Then 11, I think, was Sunday. Is that right? Let me just look and see for sure. Because I'm actually currently planning the way future. What's that?
Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
Yeah, let me get the exact of my notes. The only reason I can't remember like that is because I'm so timeless in my planning that I can't keep it straight where we are because I'm always in the future planning. So I know today is step 15. So basically yesterday was 14. Oh, that Saturday was 13. That's right. Okay, let's come back to me. 12. So 12 was on Friday. 11 was on Thursday. So on Thursday, you came into integrity with the new program. On Friday, you started to go, okay, now what? On Saturday, you were like, oh shit, things have got to change. Because what you're realizing is by valuing yourself for who you really are, you realize you've created a life that doesn't value you. And so now you know the life doesn't value you. The life you created does not value you and your wants and desires. And so everything's going to have to change. And so that's why today is step 6, net 6, 15, net 6, which is today we go, I guess that's true. We accept it. We accept that this life right now doesn't work. It's 3D. It's tiny. It's without knowing that tree of knowledge is expanded with Jupiter. It's like Jupiter's told us there's so much more to think about. There's aliens. There's this. There's multi-lifetimes. So much to think about. So in that today we accept the programming. Okay, something's gonna have to change. Tomorrow 16. Well, with an open heart, 1-6, 6 being open, 1 heart with an open heart. What's that change? Calling the higher self. Well, what is it? I can't see from here. Your higher self is radio back down. It was this. You have a higher self that's meditating in heaven. And so you connect to it to go, what the fuck? What are we supposed to do here? Where's the map? And that's why meditation is important, to connect to your own higher self. They never told you that in church. They told you it's to God. Like, skip your higher self, go to God. That was a lie. You have to go to your higher self. Hey, higher self, the one that made this up, that made this whole thing. What was the plan? Because the whole point was to experience it not knowing the plan. If you experience it not knowing the plan, it's exciting. So when you get stuck every now and then, every time it's in that 7, go back and ask yourself, what was the plan? Right? That's the way you have to do it. So step 8, so that's let's see, 16 tomorrow, that's the plan. 17 is on Wednesday. So 17, you decide your heart and soul, 1-7, heart and soul decides how life's going to change. Thursday, net 9, my birthday, 18 degrees Taurus, my birthday on Thursday. Okay, you commit 8 to what your heart's asking for. That's my whole life's about. Commit to what my heart's asking for and do it. All right, and that means, and so it is. So we're going to manifest. And then on Friday, oh, sure, we wanted this. Friday is like, okay, we're going to do it on Thursday. We're going to keep doing it on Friday. So when they're, in the movie where the woman's like, Johnny, please don't leave, Johnny. I love you, Johnny. You keep walking. I have to keep walking. So like Friday's hard. You have to
It's
walk
a
away from something.
test.
What's that? It's a
I said
test.
yeah.
It's also the test of mastery. So if you make it to 20, you're now in the master realm. If you don't pass that test and you go back, you're not in the master realm. What's the master realm? The realm of having an impact on everything around you. Merging your energy with Gaia, Mother Earth, who is an alive soul, a soul, Mother Earth. It's an alive soul that we are intimately connected to, that we borrow energy from to have this experience. And so once you're in the 20s, you're now working with Mother Earth. And so you're working with her. She's setting things up for you. She's contacting one person on Earth to find you. She's contacting another person on Earth. Turns out the law of attraction is being done by Gaia. Gaia, this woman, it's a woman energy more than a man, is what fulfills wishes. It's her. She does it. This beautiful Earth does it as a courtesy to help you learn. Lent her existence to you. Pretty fucking cool, really. But anyway, so 20s, you're now talking to her, and you're talking to everyone in humanity when you create. And so basically, we go to 20 on Saturday. which is it's two things. 20 is emotional and boundaries. So the emotion is I made it, protect it, or the emotion is I didn't make it. And the sadness of it, which means you're in sad emotion. Sad emotion means you're not going this year, not this year. And this is it. Like in Taurus is when you just determine. You can't really shift. So from Taurus to Virgo, your choice is made into reality. So you make the choice in Taurus, and then Gemini, minds change, Cancer, emotions change, Leo, heart change of heart, Virgo, it becomes real. So you basically you make the decision in Taurus, it loads by Virgo, right? So step 10 is Taurus, step 10, step 11 is Virgo, I become. That's how it works. So basically so what does this mean? It means you act on what your heart wants only. Only what your heart wants. You don't take candy from a baby. We're not even telling you how to do it yet. We're saying you're changing the promise to yourself. You're not changing anything but the promise to yourself right now. You don't have to tell anybody. We actually recommend you don't. Serious choices, don't tell anyone. Don't even tell your husband and wife yet. I mean, I have this thing called the vault now. I'm talking about in my personal readings. And the vault is like, there's some things that are just between you and God, period. There are. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. No one gets to know. No one. And so you got to have some things in the vault. So I wouldn't really share with even my most beloved at the moment. And I hope my most beloved doesn't share with me. And we hope we agree to that because we know that if we allow caring for each other to interfere with this part of us, it will not necessarily have the highest outcome for each of us. And so there has to be like new boundaries in marriage. I mean, but long story short, you hold this note until Virgo, in which it becomes real. And by Virgo, we're in the new earth.
And when is that? Is that
It
23
is
months away?
technically, actually, it's in the beginning of September. So here's the thing: September 11th
Weeks away.
is the date that we launch New Earth every year. So isn't that funny? That
Yeah,
something bad happened on that day.
right.
Isn't that funny?
World changing.
It is world changing. That is the most. When I saw 9/11, like there's an astrologer behind these fuckers because that was the most important day you could have to take over. The most.
It was successful. Whatever their agenda was, definitely.
Thus far,
Right.
thus far, we weren't awake. Now we are. It's a lot harder to
So,
commit a crime when someone's looking at you.
yeah, the last few weeks or even months, I would say that there's been a lot of like you saying listen to your heart and that's what's important, but it's seeming now that it's like all coming to like it's going to be materialized like if you have or what your choice is, how much credit have you been giving to yourself, how much have you been valuing yourself, it's going to be laid out into reality. It seems like we're coming to like that point, that apex where it actually happens.
That point. Well, let's put it this way: your mind and your belief structure. Okay, the new happens when Mercury conjuncts Jupiter at 29 Gemini, which opposes Gary. So we're gonna see a huge shift in Gary. I mean, he's already telling me what it is. I already know what it is. I can't tell you, but it's cool. It's really cool. He's in Dubai right now.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing is going through a shift.
Well, and Gary's amongst countries now that care. They care about these things. America
Right.
doesn't care. Dubai cares. They care. They actually care about a better world. They do. There are cultures that are ready to take on many of the leadership roles on the earth because the United States is kind of a young. We're young. We actually don't get it. Like what India knows, the wisdom of India, they all believe in astrology. All of them. You have to have your chart right of your spouse before they let you get married. It's like they know it's the soul. They know it's karma. They know all that. They're not in the dark at all. Their problem is, getting under the control of the warlords and the financiers, and they're stuck in what America achieved. We're stuck in what they achieved. That's part of the unification of the earth is right there. Is that turns out you have what we know. Each of them has the answer somewhere else. So, anyways, Gary's out there making relationships with those people, which is brilliant. Brilliant and perfect and just wonderful. So, anyways, on the Sun, Mercury conjuncting Jupiter, that is when the new is active, and the new um, is sort of like the mantra for the age of light, because it's like everything we knew. It's a new world based on everything we knew. And the thing is, everything we knew already, as in our spirit knew, but we forgot. So the new is like now it's a new world based on everything we knew that we didn't know at the time. Now we know. It's like, what? But it's kind of true. That's what it is, and that's the head trip. And so the head trip was you always knew. You'll find in your life you always knew. You always knew that. The changes I've had is like I've always known it, but I kind of didn't want to talk about it in my head. I don't know. It's weird how you know something and then you end up doing it. Like, fuck, I knew it all along. It's like, but why didn't I do anything about it? Why did I stuff it in the back of my brain? Why did I pretend like I didn't know? Why did I pretend like I didn't know? I don't know why I did that. It's interesting, but I did it. And I'm a guy who believes in wisdom and truth. And yet I do it myself. I knew. I knew. So I think once you know that what you thought you knew was true, well, then everything you thought you knew was true. And then what? Oh, shit. Because everything I thought I knew was true, then, oh my God, am I cool? Like, I am cool. And you might find that you're very cool too. It's like, I'm sure you will. The truth is, your truth is that you are cool. We're all God's children. He's cool as shit. We're all his children. There's no way, no one here is not cool.
Right.
That's the weird thing. The idea that someone wasn't was a lie. We're all cool. They say, when people say like, according to God, I'm special. People say that. And I would say, when do you become special to God? And the answer is when you realize you are special to God, then you are. That's when you get the status, when you realize you are. You realize you're something that God never thought of, or you're something that God thought of that wonder would look like when it turned out. You're probably one of his thoughts, and it's like, oh, I wonder if that would work. And that's who you are. So you are special. You're one of his thoughts. Like, shit. You
Yeah.
are. You are. It's like, wow. That's pretty. Does that make you feel good? Does it make you feel love and hope? Because it is. How could anything bad happen to you if you're one of his thoughts?
It can be a lot of responsibility for people, or a different way of thinking where they are now responsible for everything in life.
No more than your toenails responsible for your head. Like you're the toenail. Just be the toenail. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like, just be the cancer cell, be the pancreas cell. Just be that cell of him. That's what you came here to be, nothing else. He doesn't expect you to be the whole being. He expects you to be what you are. He expects you to be just who you are. That's it. And that's what's so amazing about God consciousness. He only wants you to be you. That's all he wants. And he doesn't care what you are because everything you are is something he might not have thought of. So he's very interested to see if you come up with something he didn't. That's
Mm.
his own personal interest. It's like, what if I discover something about myself I never thought I knew? I never knew. For him, the whole world is new.
Right.
He is new. He is new. We should call God new. New.
New.
So this week, follow your heart. Today, have your mind, step 5, follow your heart. Your mind works for your heart, period. Tell that smart ass to shut up and listen to what your heart says. It is a Scrabble board. That's all your mind is. It's just a Scrabble board. It's a thing where you write things down. It's not the source of any knowledge at all. And it can't memorize words shit. So the idea you're going to roll from your mind it's futile. And then tomorrow, open your heart. 6, open your heart and listen to God. 7. And then Wednesday, decide what your heart wants and do something about it. Decide what your heart wants. Listen to your heart, listen to your soul, and decide what your heart wants. Heart and soul. Soul is why I came, heart is what I want now. And then 18, commit to what your heart wants and act on it. Do it. Take the first step, only the first step. And then Friday, keep acting on your heart, keep acting on your heart, keep acting on your heart, keep acting on your heart. You stay in that state of acting on your heart, acting on your heart, acting on your heart, and then loving and trusting to work out, loving and trusting to work out. That's the real levitation moment where you go to the higher level. Is you just keep acting on your heart said, and you just keep protecting what it is, and you don't listen to anything else but that. And if you can concentrate on that for 24 hours, you're ready for step 20. If you cannot concentrate on it for 24 hours, you're not ready. It's a simple benchmark. Keep idiots from having too much power. I've so far been an idiot. But, I haven't got past step 19. That's my one step I always fuck up on. And what I end up doing, I end up helping other people instead of focusing on my heart. That's what I do.
Yeah.
You're having a hard time?
It's not as easy as saying it. I'll tell you, like just the envisioning and the focusing. It is a skill that we know how to do, but it does take focus. It takes a choosing. It takes not being distracted by the program that we've been running.
Totally. Yes. Not being distracted by saving someone else. If you think someone else is more important than you, then so it is.
And so always choosing self first.
Always. If heart self, the heart. Not
Got
the ego, not the mind, not not the body, the heart. The heart is you as God. You are their heart. What you love is who you are. You love chocolate, you're a chocolate lover. That's who you are. Whatever you love is who you are. That's it. If you don't love it, that's not you. If you don't love it, like, oh my God, I love this, then that's not you. You should not be anything you don't love. You should only be what you love. That's it. So I don't love the Democrats, and I'm not one. I don't love Republicans. I'm not one of them. If you don't love it, you're not them. You're not. That's it. But if they just change, shut up. That's control of the earth. You're saying if they just change their free will, you'll be happy? That's control. That's slavery right there. No one should have to change ever. Ever. So if they have to change, wrong people to be with. No one has to change anything, ever. None of it has to
right.
change anything ever. You never have to change anything ever, 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 ever. If someone's telling you to change, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm not going to change. You mean God's liver cell is going to become a pancreas cell now for you? No way. Fuck off, pancreas. you know, like I'm going to do that. And that's what's happened. We have organs trying to take over organs. That's bullshit. That's sovereignty,
Right.
which is new buzzword, sovereignty. That's Mary Magdalene's campaign. She's coming through Krista Marie to teach sovereignty, which is how I think it was from. I think that's how Jesus. So I think she taught Jesus. She taught Jesus how to say he knew better than anyone, because he's really a sweetheart kind of feminine guy, and he had a hard time saying I know better than anybody. I think she taught him sovereignty. She was like, "Here's how you do it, honey," And that's I think one of her major contributions that she's made is like she's like a woman that she will not let a man control her. Back then, and so she, from a long time, was like, no. I think maybe John the Baptist had something to do with it, where she's like, that's it. No man's going to, I don't care what the laws are. I don't care what God said in the Hebrew thing. No, it's not happening anymore. I'm not letting some man control me. Some man that now is the father of baptizing, washing away your sins. Oh, yeah? What are you guilty of, buddy? Changes the whole dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Why do you have to
Scott's
wash away your sins? Why?
Scott's saying a horse named Sovereignty won the 151st Kentucky Derby last Saturday.
Holy shit! Thanks, Scott. Thanks. That's so cool. Thank you. I'm going to share that. That's crazy. The Kentucky Derby. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, I think it's a horse. He said Sovereignty won it. So, and
I
then
imagine
Jess is saying that's the horse that won the race.
Justice just saying that. Just kidding.
Jess, so someone else validated that. All right.
Name Justice.
Yep.
Life's funny. All right,
All
dude. So
right.
have you talked to
So
Gary? Have you talked to Gary?
not recently, no. Just
Mm.
he's on the other side of the planet. He did voice call me and then sent me some videos a couple weeks ago. But that's about it.
I think like it depends on your schedule, but I think he won't be available at this time slot for a while.
Right. Yeah. They asked me about that. Yeah. So it's me and
Okay.
you for a while.
Right. Well, I didn't know it was a while until I tested him this weekend.
Well, I just got a message today saying until further notice, basically. Until we.
That's because he talked to me and confirmed it.
All right. Yeah.
So it's now Ron Chris for a while. That's
That's right.
cool. That's our new.
That's right. He said, there you go.
It's our
In real
new.
time.
Looking for the new. Very cool. Well, it's cool. You're fun, bud. It's fun to have this, and I'll continue to be late in the new, so don't even think I'm not.
Do you get my text messages when I'm like, hey, Chris, I'm about to go on?
Usually because I'm running with the phone or it's already sitting
Yeah.
on the thing waiting,
I'm
and
like,
like
should I
other
even
stuff.
send this to him?
You
Oh,
should. No,
okay.
and when I have a new assistant, which is coming because a new thing happened there, um, we'll have someone also on standby. Chris, Mr.
Okay.
Biden, Mr. Biden, Mr. Biden. Oh. What? Who's raw? And 3,
Yeah.
2. So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit the button. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So happy birthday on
Thanks, dude.
Thursday.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Thanks. Yeah. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Step 52 this year.
There you go.
Step
Wow.
52. I'm step 52. This is step 52. Every year is a different step number. So,
So
yep.
it keeps on going up yearly too? That's awesome.
Step 52.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which nets to a 7. So it's a net 7 years. So it's a year where I get closer to God. by being mindful of my feelings, which is so true. I just did my solar return. Basically, the next year, I have to just listen to God. I don't really have control. I pretty much give up control of God for the next year.
Cool.
So every decision, everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool stuff. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. We love you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
I'm
Take
not an
care.
adult yet. You're right, Zia. Coming unite the light, that love.
Bye-bye.